the past few years. It's like, be perfect on Instagram. Like your page should look like this. This should be like this. It's perfect, perfect, perfect. The new vibe is being real. Everyone has had enough. No one really gives a shit if you look perfect. And I think that the more real you get, the more unreal it's going to get for you.
Welcome to the Hairpreneur Show, the show that teaches you, the hair pro, how to work smarter so you can make more, work less, and live a purpose-driven life on your schedule, not your clients'. I'm your host, Ryan Whedon, and each week I'll teach you awesome, actionable ways to tap into your personal greatness. Through marketing, mindset, and confidence training, it's time to unlock the next level of you. Let's grow. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hairpreneur Show. I'm your host, Ryan Whedon. Today, we have got somebody that is just awesome, and I'm so excited to talk to her. I met her a while back. I think the first time I met her was at the Behind the Chair award show, and I can't remember, it was like some resort place, maybe in Texas, or I don't know, wherever you go and get drunk and have fun and watch hair. It was a lot of fun. We have today life and business coach and mentor, salon owner of Network Salon, and just an incredible hairpreneur in the business. Let's welcome to the show, Gina Bianca.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited for you to be here. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've been listening to your podcast. I love it. I have my own podcast. So I was just like, oh my God. When you asked me to be on yours, I was just like, I hadn't even known you started one. So I was like, oh my God, I have to go binge it. Like I knew it was going to be good. So I've been listening to it. It's great. I'm glad you're doing it.
Thank you. Yeah. And yours is amazing as well. And it's so cool to see you being, I guess, a forefront person in the hair industry. You're always kind of like me. We're always trying to see, okay, what's next? Where can we take this? And then I have my guests have these, for people that are listening, fill out this questionnaire so that we have a direction of what's happening in their lives so that I can ask and prepare questions on my end. And I see that you have, I already knew that you were doing like I want to hear about it, like a membership site, but you're using Kajabi. And Kajabi is this incredible hosting platform that I've been using for almost 3.5 years now. So whenever I meet another Kajabian, I'm just like super excited to speak to them about like their experiences and how they are taking their training and their coaching and mentoring to the next level. So please tell me a little bit about, let's just jump right into there. What is your site all about?
Well, thank you. I didn't know you used Kajabi. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, really? Not until now?
Until right now. So literally you and I are cut from the same cloth. Like I was like just learning, because I'm coming on your show. I'm like, I need to learn everything I can about Ryan because I have met you once before. I know Masters of Balayage. I wanted to just like be prepared, obviously, do my research and just get to know you even more. And the fact that you use Kajabi too, I literally texted you and I was just like, where did you go to school? I feel like we're cut from the same freaking cloth. Like we're so similar. We're both entrepreneurs. And the fact that you use Kajabi now, I'm just like, holy shit. Like that's just like another thing. That's so great. Like it's amazing. So I've been using Kajabi for just this year. I started my mastermind group on Facebook like 2 years ago. I was just like, I want to sell hair videos, but I don't know how. And I literally just started a Facebook group and charged $20 a month through Shopify. And I was just posting hair videos, like long tutorial hair videos. And eventually my group grew like crazy and I could not host it on Facebook anymore. And I ended up moving over to Kajabi this year because my tour got canceled. Thank you, COVID. But my tour got canceled. I put all my education online, like stress level midnight. Like I tried to get everything online as quickly as possible. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use Kajabi. Tony Robbins uses Kajabi. He's my idol and mentor, which I know you love Tony too.
Tony and Brendan Burchard, and they've been using Kajabi for years too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I literally was just like, I'm just going to go for it. And that's what I did. And I actually help people with Kajabi now. I learned it very quickly. It's super easy platform to use. And basically I moved my whole membership site over there. So I have a mastermind group. It's $30 a month and it's hair, business, marketing videos, all of that. Like it's basically, you want to take even more than what you see on my Instagram. If you want to get to know me, if you want to join my network of people, if you want special pricing on my courses. And in 2021, I'm doing biweekly coaching. So it'll be like group coaching in my group. And I think that that's the biggest value of anything. There's going to be my hair stuff. Everything is going to be in there for my people. I mean, I really want to grow like a master program for people so they can come in, learn everything. And more importantly, like, my goal is to elevate the beauty industry. I grew up with mentors like Robert Cromines and Tabitha Coffey, and I'm following in their footsteps every day, taking everything I've learned from them, Tony, like all of my mentors. And my goal is to just leave the industry better than it was when I got here.
That's great. I can see a lot of Tabitha in you. And I know that she's one of your mentors. She's great because she's just no bullshit.
I just love her. Like, I was watching her at 16 with my mom. Like, we would like lay in my bed and watch Tabitha Salon Takeover. And this is before hair was even a thought. And I just loved her. I loved her. I always had my hair different colors. I was always getting extensions when I was younger. And I always like at school, like I was bullied a lot in school and high school. And I went through like a lot in my life. And when I was in high school, what I would do to cope with trauma is change my hair. Mm-hmm. Like I was bullied a lot. I had a lot of crazy shit happen. But like what I would do is I would completely reinvent myself. Like I would show up and just be like, bitch, new phone. Who's this? New look, new everything. And I loved how beauty would transform me as a person. Like I absolutely loved it. So I was like obsessed with like that aspect. Like I'm like a transformation addict. So like that for me was like, wow, I love this. And then that's how I was introduced to Tabitha because I just loved hair at that point. And it's so crazy that I became a hairstylist because it was never something I was like, I'm going to do this. I was in high school and I couldn't get accepted anywhere to college because I didn't go to school. Like,
what do you mean? When you mean you just were a bad kid?
I was literally just like.
Were you one of the people that would just like hang out in between classes and like one of the rebels in school, and you just decided
I was
to
a
cut
rebel.
Classes? Yeah,
I was a rebel. I've had problems with like drugs and stuff my whole life, and I actually just got clean. So I've been sober. I just hit my 90 days. I went to treatment this year, and that's something that's like.
You talk about a transformation and that you look great. You look super healthy. And I know that I've been watching your transformation online because you've been so kind to share it, which I think is important to help others that might be struggling as well, to watch somebody that's going through it, but getting through it and how there's so much positivity and health on the other side of it.
Yeah, Ryan, I can't even tell you, like, I was just like thinking last night, like this moment hit me. And I used to have this like crazy anxiety. Like, I bet I met you at the show and then totally picked apart everything I said or did or like whatever. Like I would have these like anxiety attacks over just who I am as a person. Like if I would say something stupid, if I would say too much or whatever. Mm-hmm. Since I went to treatment, I have never had that feeling. It is the most freeing feeling to not question who the fuck I am as a person. Mm-hmm. Like literally that's been like the biggest gift for me. And it opens up so much space for me to just be myself. And this is something I realized like last night as I was going to bed. I'm like, wow, I can't believe that like I haven't had that feeling because we were watching some show and it triggered a thought. And I was just like, wow, I've never felt like that since. It was like a huge victory. So yeah, I mean, in high school, I was like cutting class, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. If I didn't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If it didn't like make me excited, like there's two things I did in high school that were valuable to me. The first thing was did a fundraiser. I had an independent study my senior year and I did a fundraiser and I collected prom dresses from everyone in the state. And I organized this whole event so girls could go to prom, get dresses, makeup. I had this whole fundraiser. That is like the one thing from high school. I was like, wow. I was like giving back to people.
Something you can really be proud of. Yeah.
Yeah. And it made an impact. And like one of my biggest values in my life is making an impact. Like that is my calling. Like I want to make a difference. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is I did an independent project in my business marketing class. And it was create your own business. And I created a salon called Beauty and the Beast. And you walk in and it's like Kat Von D and a Barbie doll. And you go this way to get tattooed and this way to get your hair done.
No way.
Those are the two things that I did in high school that have anything to do with like what I do now. And I don't know why I keep bringing up high school, but like going.
No, that's just where you had a big epiphany almost, where that's where you didn't have any direction. I mean, you did have those accomplishments, but that's where you were, I don't even know if you were soul searching at that point, right? You were just kind of lost.
I was lost, but that's how I found Tabitha. That's why I started talking about high school because literally like all of this is going on. And that's where I found my mentor is on freaking Bravo TV. Like, can you believe it? And then she actually taught at the network last year. And she completely validated me. She said to me, she's just like, you're doing it and you're doing it with value. And like, she basically said like, you're doing it. And I had a freaking breakdown. I was like, holy shit. Like she validated like everything I've been trying to do for 10 years. And it was just like a huge moment. And, you know, I'm so grateful to be in this industry and I'll do anything I can to give back to it. And Mastermind is just one piece of everything. The podcast is another piece. And I'm just grateful that I even have a leg to stand on and something that people want to hear.
So you went to school, you were watching Tabitha, you were re-inspired, you wanted to transform people's lives through beauty as your vehicle. How soon after that did you decide to go to beauty school?
So I couldn't get accepted to any colleges because I was bad. Like I literally was just like a badass. Yeah. I was like getting into fights and shit. Like I was bad.
Yeah. Like the don't mess with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. In a professional way now.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I just started doing jujitsu and there's nothing. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, you look pretty tough.
There's nothing like that kind of workout. There's just nothing like it. But I was applying for colleges. I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. Like, have you done any of Tony's events?
No, I haven't. I've done some of his like courses, short courses, but I haven't been to any of his like a Date with Destiny or anything like that. It looks amazing.
Steve and I went to Date with Destiny in December. And one of the things he guides you through, he's like, what did you want to be when you were 5 years old? What did you want to be when you were 10 years old? And he guides you through it. And like all of the things I wanted to be have led me to where I am now. So like when I was in high school, I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. Like, again, I'm obsessed with transformation, but I'm not going to go to school for 10 years. I can't even go to school for 10 minutes. Right. You know what I mean? So I was like, and I love to cook. Like that's something like that gives me so much joy. It's like, I love to cook for groups. Like I love to cook a meal for like 10 people. Like nothing makes me freaking happier than like serving it up for 10 people. And I'm good at it. So,
and a lot of people like to eat too, especially if somebody else is making it and serving it too. So I'm sure you always have a full table.
Yeah. And it's how I show love too. Like, you know, my brother just came home for Christmas and I made like this whole crazy thing. And I was just like, this is how I say I love you. I was like, but yeah, so I was like looking at schools and stuff and I was like, I'm not getting in anywhere. So my hairstylist actually, Colored by Caitlin. Do you know Colored by Caitlin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a badass. She was my hairstylist. Yeah. She was my hairstylist at the salon I went to. And she was like, you need to go to hair school. And I was just like, I'll go check it out. And she had went to Paul Mitchell and I had went to Paul Mitchell and I signed up that day. Wow. Like I was just like, these are my people. This is what I want to do. It's something to fall back on. If I think a lot of people go to hair school as it's something to fall back on, but they don't realize that if you have the passion and if you have the drive, you can literally do anything that you want to do. And having a license is just like the opening the door. And
it's like you and me and other people that are thought leaders in the industry are now able to show that you can make a lot of money and you can impact a lot of people doing it by giving value, by creating a more beautiful world. You can just have so much more than has ever been possible as a hairstylist. You know, you don't have to be a TV star to make huge impact. You don't have to be, I remember I was going to ask you, I don't know if it's an appropriate question, but how old are you? Because
I'm 29.
20. Oh my God, that's it?
Yeah, I'm 29.
You're a freaking baby. Okay.
I know. I opened my first place at 23.
That's incredible.
Adult. Ryan, I was looking around every freaking day for an adult. And I was the adult at 23.
Wow.
Like, I can't even explain. Like, I had an employee team-based pay salon, which I was doing cash flow plans, QuickBooks, freaking everything. Like, it wasn't a just let's show up and do hair. It was a freaking fine to oiled machine business. Like, I looked around for an adult all the time and I was like, holy shit, I'm the adult here. It was like crazy. And now I'm 29 and I'm just like, I'm old, but like, I'm not.
Right. Well, because I was thinking about when you were talking about Tabitha, and I was thinking about when I had gotten started in hair. I got started in my mid-20s going to school, and it was watching like Jonathan, because he was on TV at the same time, you know, Jonathan Salon and Beverly Hills, and how he was kind of a dick, and like I didn't want to be him, but I'm just like, that's when those TVs were really popular, about watching these hairstylists have these amazing salons and show the celebrity of it, really. So I was just wondering if it was about the same time and about that. I mean, I'm older than you. I wish I knew what I know now and was 29, of course. But
yeah, absolutely. And the fact that we have social media now, like I'm old enough to know what it's like to build with no social media.
Right.
Like that's a lot of things that people like who are younger than us, like that is such a freaking crazy gift.
having have knowing like how to do it without social media.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, people younger than us who have social media to build their business off of, like we didn't have that from the beginning. Like I remember when I first was starting out, I started on Groupon. Okay.
I've been on that. Yep.
Like my first salon put me on Groupon for like full highlight gloss haircut for $45. Okay. And the reason I'm known for pricing is because I could build a ticket from a $45 bullshit ticket and sell it and tell them why. Like, do you know what I mean?
Right.
It was so difficult. And like Tony says, life is not happening to you. It's happening for you. All of my struggles and difficulties have taught me everything I need. Like my first salon, that shit was a nightmare and a dream. And I closed it last year to focus on education. And I have the rental salon, which is so easy. Like it is so much.
So is it all, so your new place is like a behemoth. The thing is huge. I don't even know how many square feet it is.
5,000.
5,000 square feet. And you have like 400 chairs. No, I'm kidding.
No, there's 16.
How many?
16. But 16. We're fully,
just 16?
We're fully rented too.
You're fully rented at 16, but you have that giant education space because 5,000 square feet is huge, right?
Yeah, I had 30 chairs when I first opened. I had 30 and then COVID happened.
Gotcha. So that's why you've cut it back. That makes sense.
I sold 8 stations, also like 877 cash now. Like I needed money. I was like every other small business, like I know like people look up to people in the industry, but they think that we're rich and that
salon owners, right? Yeah. Making all of this money, right? If you run it well, you can do well. You can make a lot of money if you do it well, but 99.9% of salon owners are squeaking by.
Yeah. And not even that, just like with COVID and this whole crazy year, like everybody's struggling, like everybody's going through their own thing. Some people are doing great and have no issues, but like as a salon owner this year, if you're struggling, you are not the only one. And these people online who make it look easy, I know I'm over here spreading all positivity all the time, but it is hard. Like it was really hard. So yeah, I sold a bunch of chairs. I rethought my whole place and I'm like adding value, and smaller staff is more value to them. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to be crammed in there with that many people. And then when the customers come in, 16 chairs, 16 stylists, 16 clients, the place still feels huge. Right. If there were 5 more people, it would probably get to the uncomfortable point of like, So you opened this giant place, which is absolutely beautiful. It looks like you didn't really spare any expenses in creating this incredible experience for clients. Did you have any, once COVID hit, did you have any regrets on having this big space? No, actually the opposite. I was just like, thank God. Because if I had a smaller space, like a lot of the people who came to rent, like my chairs filled up when COVID happened. I had 5 chairs rented before COVID and now we're rented out. I talked to somebody, they're really awesome. I hope they join us. But like I said, God gives me the right people, like the right people come to me and then the people who aren't meant to be with me leave. And I've got 1 chair left. Wow. And I hope that it gets filled by this person, but we'll see what happens. But when COVID happened, because salons were at 50% capacity or 25% capacity, and a lot of salon owners are going paycheck to paycheck, like me included sometimes, like I'm like an adrenaline junkie. Like I reinvest in my business all day long. I paid off a huge business loan before COVID happened and ended up on my fucking ass this year. And it's been crazy. So a lot of salons either closed, the stylists couldn't book their appointments right. So they moved to a place that they could work freely and it's bigger and safer. Their clients feel safer, Sure. So I didn't regret anything. I was very happy about it, but it's expensive, Yeah, and not doing education. By the way, we have to get you at the network to do a class, but the education is 90% of my income. Okay. And that stopped.
And that was 90% from your physical space, from the classes.
My classes and travel classes. My travel classes last year, I was gone every weekend. I was in it. I was
and that's a lot of money traveling around, especially if you don't, like I've got a team. Yeah, I've got a team that I send around and I could never make as much off of my team that I can if I do my own classes.
Exactly.
But then it's required my time. So it's nice to be able to send people out and do that, spread the mob love. But you don't have to go anywhere for your particular salon and the network. And it's just, I love the whole philosophy of it and the space that you had. It just jam packed with people, pre-COVID, obviously, getting superstars in there, people traveling in, and it's just amazing what you've created there. And I feel like that's a great model for people that actually want to have a physical space, but also want to educate and have the freedom to not have to travel.
You should franchise my space.
I just closed my salon. I'm like, I'm done with the physical space.
Oh, well, if you ever want to open another one, open a network. Oh my God. I want to have it in every state one day.
That would be amazing. That's a good goal.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it.
Is that a goal?
Like, yeah, absolutely. Like that's what I'm working on right now. Like the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. I'm trying to make the network have more than that so that people want to open it, make income, and I'll have a place to teach everywhere in the state or everywhere in the country.
Yeah. And then maybe even international, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. So it's a really good model, and owning an employee-based salon for 5 years, being an educator, a beauty influencer, all the things that take up so much time. It's like owning a rental salon. It's so much easier. Like it is so much easier than having to like literally be responsible for your employees and their clients. Like that was the hardest part for me, is like, being responsible for not only my employee and their success, but also the satisfaction of their clients and then the reflection of the brand. Like it was so much like, and having renters, they all have their own business. All I have to do is make sure that the salon is clean, beautiful, stocked with everything that they need, and that there's value.
But do you feel like you lose control in a sense? I don't know how it is exactly in your state. I know every state is a little bit different on how they treat booth renters. Because in California, it's like they can literally bring in their own product lines and kind of set up their station how their brand fits and whatnot. So I feel like as an owner, you have a lot less control. How is it in your state?
So in our state, like this is a thing, like I coach to leaving your renters the fuck alone. They should be able to do whatever they want. They have their own business. This is their brand, and you should leave them alone. The thing is you have to find the right people.
Right.
And not everybody is right for my brand. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to wait and say no, than just take every single person that comes at me. And in my salon, they all decorate their station the way they want. They all dress different. I show up to work in a t-shirt, sweatpants, and sneakers. Like I don't dress up. I don't wear, I have not worn makeup in months, except for when I'm on camera, like if I'm shooting for Joico or if I'm doing stuff like that. Like I show up as completely myself, however that is that day. And I don't expect them to be anybody other than themselves. And I give them all a huge like kitchen cabinet pantry. It's freaking huge for all their stuff. They can buy everything from me, the color. We have all the color they need, they could buy. But I really leave it up to them. And the network brand is be yourself. Like you belong no matter who you are, what you do. If you work here, you be yourself and you belong here. And the same for my students that come in. Like I want you to come here and be yourself and have this be your safe space where you can meet people, make new friends. And I'm telling you, the classes that we've had there, the people that roll through there, like they leave as best friends. And then I see them hanging out and they all live in different states. That's where Mastermind came from. It's a culture. Like it's crazy because they'll meet at a class. One lives in Chicago. The other one lives in Idaho. And then you see them together at another class in New York. And it's like, holy shit, like that happened at my space. And that is making an impact. And that for me makes me like crazy passionate. Like that's the kind of stuff that drives me. So the network, mastermind, all of that stuff is kind of all intertwined, and not being able to do it this year has been devastating. But I think when the entertainment industry comes back, it's going to come back strong.
And there really is nothing like being part of a live event. I mean, we can have as much fun doing, podcasts and listening to podcasts and doing our online membership sites, but the energy of just people that are so excited to be in a group with other people and watching talented people on stage. It's just like in the concerts and just like that kind of vibe.
Yeah,
man, I miss that.
I don't care for online education, if I could be honest. I know it's the future. I'll partake in it. I don't care for it. I don't think it has an impact. I think it does have an impact, but like I can teach all of my techniques online. But if you come to my space and I look you in the eye and I help you hold the comb and I answer that question and you can like be in that state like you're talking about, that's what I live for. And I'm an in-person type of chick. Like this online stuff, this is cool. Podcast is cool. But when it comes to like the real deal, I cannot wait to get back in person. And I know there are others who feel like that. Like this is crazy.
Right. So why did you start podcasting?
It's crazy because like when I first started podcasting, it was because I just needed a podcast. Like, just like you said on, I listened to you on Shop Talk because I'm going to be on your podcast. You inspired me. You're like, will you come on my podcast? And I'm just like, why the fuck am I not on other people's podcasts? So I messaged like 20 people. I'm like, can I be on your podcast? And they're like, sure. But so I was listening to Shop Talk and I listened to your interview on there. And I like how you said, build your own stage. I relate to that 1,000%.
Right.
But you said podcasting is the future, that I'm obsessed with Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Steve and I, instead of watching TV, we'll just watch a Joe Rogan on the TV for 3 hours. You know what I mean? And I think podcasting is the future. Long form podcasting. And I think that if someone can listen to me on their way to work with my intention of helping them grow their life and business and be more confident and be happier, then why not provide that content?
Yeah. And I think it's a way for us to even be more almost behind the scenes relatable, where we can get more personal, more intimate. We can share stories that we might not necessarily want the world to see on an Instagram post. When they can listen to us.
Yeah. Like when someone says like, cause you never know who's listening and watching, Ryan. Like you just never know. Like someone like from my, like, I always say like my past life, like from high school or from just somebody who like knows me, like not from hair. They'll be like, oh yeah, I love your podcast. And I'm just like, you listen to my podcast? I'm like, shit, what did I say? I like automatically go through. I'm like, what did I say that they're going to judge me on right now? But like, it's weird, but it is more intimate and I love it.
For me, it's kind of like at times when I'm doing like a solo podcast, when I'm not doing an interview, it's almost like therapy in a way. It's
I
funny because, I want to be very relatable. I want to make sure that I'm authentic with myself and I want other people to know that, hey, I got problems too. My life has definitely not been perfect. It might look like tip of the iceberg stuff when you see Instagram, but you don't see everything that led up to this point. You don't see all the struggles and the challenges that I've faced along the way, just like you have in your life and we all have in our lives. And I like to talk about those and what we've learned from those so that people that might be facing something similar and feel like they're all alone, be like, no, you're not alone. And, we've all had our own share of difficulties, but you can get past it and you can create something great.
Absolutely. And like when you do that, like when you like in 2021, being real is
so
the new
for 2021.
wave.
So excited for next year.
Is the new wave. Like, how like before, like in the past few years, it's like be perfect on Instagram. Like your page should look like this. This should be like this. It's perfect. The new vibe is being real. Everyone has had enough. No one really gives a shit if you look perfect. And I think that the more real you get, the more unreal it's going to get for you.
It's like, what are you sharing? Is it helping somebody in some way? Is it entertaining them? Is it giving them value? Is it about the audience? Not about look at me, look at me, look at me. It's got to be something that's going to inspire others.
Making an impact. Let's go.
Yeah, right. It's not like, hey, look how cool I am, right? Hey, check out my new car I bought. Yeah, what do you think? Cool. It does this, that, and the other, while everybody else is broke and struggling from paycheck to paycheck and, you're bragging.
Can't relate.
You can't really,
They're going to just be like, can't relate, puts on Lil Baby. Like literally just can't relate to you. Right. But I like what you said about it feels like therapy for you on your podcast, because like when you share and you're real, like somebody who might be on the brink of a breakthrough, like their challenge, they might be thinking about that all day long. And then they hear that you overcame it and how that could push them to a whole nother level. Like you could change somebody's life just by telling your story. And I think that that's so powerful.
It's funny too, because I was looking back at some old footage of me, just not even that long ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and just seeing how I've grown from that point where I can see myself visibly nervous, like in a video. And, I'm not always like not nervous I don't always have zero anxiety when I get on stage or even when I do a podcast. But just the transformation that I can see looking back, not even that far, is also a good thing that I'm going to hopefully, show people that like, I haven't been good at this forever. It's something that it's a skill. Like anybody can become good at putting themselves out there by being more authentic and by becoming more comfortable with who they are at a soul level. And it's okay. You don't have to care what other people think. Just put yourself out there, trust yourself, and go relentlessly toward your dreams.
Absolutely. I love it. It's true. And it's a muscle. Like it works if you work it. Like you gotta like keep practicing. And I remember like in 2018, I'm teaching people in my 5 Ways to Foil class. Like I was teaching people about social media, and I would always do like this like 3-minute skit. I would just do it. Like I was like in an improv class. Like I felt like Michael Scott on The Office. Like I would just like snap into character and I'd be like, 3, 2, 1, you're live. Welcome everybody. Here we are. This is my beautiful guest. And I would just go through like how to go live. And people like seeing that, they're just like, I just remember like how scared people were just to hit the live button.
Right. And
like the thing is that you just have to start, and everybody starts somewhere. But the important thing is that you start. Because if not, it's going to be 2 years later and you're going to be like, damn, I should have done that. Right.
When at that point you need the momentum of having been practicing for these years, so that when that perfect time opens up, like with, for instance, like podcasting, I think it is going to be the future. And it's like, I don't want to wait till that everybody has a podcast. I want to already be experienced enough to be like, oh yeah, he's had a podcast for years. He's great.
Yeah,
or Gina's been doing it for great. Yeah, exactly.
Lead
the pack.
Don't wait for someone else to do it and show them how. Leaders just do it. They screw up. They fail. Like Joico gave me the title Global Salon Business Expert. Okay. This title,
that's a big title.
This is a big title, but I laughed at it because expert in my dictionary, it means you fucked up a lot.
Right.
And you learned. Like you're not an expert from reading a book. You're an expert from doing it. And when you're a leader, you have to just decide, start, and then you see what happens. You have to have like the guts to do it. And like when you're afraid and you have that fear, like all up in your face, fear can be overcome by taking action. The anxiety eats your fucking soul. Like anxiety will just be there forever. Fear, like just jump over it.
Right.
You know,
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he has this book called Return on Courage, and he has a brand called Courageous. And we were talking about like how most of the world is driven by fear, 95% of it, and only 5% of us actually have the courage to do something about it, right? But it's the same energy. It's just redirected either in a negative way or a positive way. It's like, are you going to take what's happening and be courageous about it? Or are you going to let it affect you and let fear guide you?
Yeah. Fear is just anxiety. Unresolved fear is just anxiety that just eats you alive 24/7. And I still have anxiety and I have fear. You know what I mean? We all have this. It's just like, what are you going to do with it? Are you just going to let it eat you alive, or are you going to freaking conquer it like a lion? Like I have this lion tattooed on me. People are like, are you a Leo? And I'm like, no, it means king of the jungle. And they're just like, okay, bitch. Like,
that's awesome. I was just thinking about tattoos too. I have this one here. You can't really see it, but it's an owl. You can see it. Owl.
That's
it's got
amazing.
some scissors here. Actually, his eye sockets here. And
oh my God, that's cool.
It's kind of hidden. It's kind of like you see it after. It's like a picture-in-picture kind of thing. But I have an owl here, and then I have a wolf here. And I was thinking, why did I get these two? And I was just coming up with like, why did I get these? I'm like, this represents wisdom, the owl, and the wolf represents courage. And I'm like, that's where the magic happens, when you get the wisdom and the courage together. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm gonna start telling people. That's why I did it. No, but I was just like, that's where the magic happens. You know, when you have the wisdom and you get wisdom from doing and experience and learning from that, you get wisdom. And by
you're going to love this. When I was in treatment, one of the ladies that taught Tai Chi, she said, open hand is knowledge, closed hand is wisdom. Together we make harmony.
That's amazing.
And the courage and wisdom, open hand means, I think it's exactly what you have.
Really? Wow.
And together that makes harmony. It was like a cool freaking thing. And I just like that just triggered that thought for me. Like, wow, Ryan.
That was from treatment?
Yeah.
That's where you learned that? Oh, maybe
I learned so much. Oh my God. Everybody does. Oh my God. Everybody does. I wish everybody could have the experience that I had. So
can I ask what the treatment was for specifically?
I was literally like so addicted to cannabis.
Okay.
I'm a crazy workaholic. Like it is so much. So I was like promoting weed online, like all the time. I was high for 2 years straight, never sober one day.
Just like all like from like wake and bake to all night long, all day, all night.
Oh
everything.
Yeah. But I was taking THC pills. I was taking, have you ever had an edible?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I would be taking like a 10 milligram edible is what you would get from the store, right? Like if you just go to like, that's like legal, street legal, whatever. I was taking 180 milligram pills.
Sounds like a lot.
It's like 18 regular edibles. I was just crushing those.
So you're just like in a cloud all day?
Okay. So the worst kind of addict is, I mean, there's no such thing as worse, but like I was a high functioning addict.
Sure.
And nobody checks up on you because you're so high functioning. No one knows you have a problem. So when COVID happened and my education business exploded, And I just had like a crazy time with all of that. Financially, everything came crashing down. I was completely stressed out with trying to get everything online, trying to make my customers happy. I was just numbing.
Sure.
It was getting me through the day. Like I love weed so much because it helped me survive. Like it helped me survive and numb out the intense feelings of like.
So almost it served its purpose, but then it just became
I had to write
controlling.
letters to it. I had to write letters saying goodbye. It's a grieving process. Like it's literally like, you helped me survive. I love you.
Wow.
But now I have to move on. And I've never loved myself more than I do sober. I don't think I'll go back to drugs and alcohol. I wouldn't.
So is it kind of like like you quit everything? Like you don't drink.
Like,
so is that part of the treatment?
Well, yeah. I mean, I went to rehab, so.
Well, yeah. But you said that you were mostly just, it sounds like you were addicted to marijuana, and that was like
marijuana was an everyday.
Okay.
Like I needed to have time off. Like I needed a break. When I got there, I had no intention of stopping drugs and alcohol, but I was wanting to like, I'm not going to say I was suicidal, but I was like not wanting to be alive. Like I didn't make any plans. I didn't.
Sure, I know what you mean.
It was not like that because I would never do that.
You're just kind of like, what's the point? Yeah,
I would
I'm
never
just not
do
happy.
that to my family. I would never do that to myself. I would never glorify that. But Lady Gaga, she's like my idol and inspiration. She said something that like changed my life. She said, when you're feeling like this, don't show me, tell me. Because she was talking about cutting, and I don't cut or endorse that or anything or glorify that. But basically she was talking about that. And I was just like, I've been asking for help since I was 9 years old. And I just don't know how to ask for help. So I'm working 90 hours. I am overdoing it. I'm saying yes to everything. I don't want to make anybody upset. I'm giving, even though it's not good for the business. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm smoking with all of these people who are great, whatever, but like, they don't care. You know what I mean? I'm out drinking with people and then I get in my car. Nobody's stopping me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it got to the point where it was just like, there was so much wrong, Ryan. And I've never talked about this publicly.
Right.
There was so much wrong that I just needed help. Like I just needed help. I told my therapist and my fiance, I was just like, I need help. My fiance was just like, I'm so glad that you said something because I'm not trying to push you into a corner and like be that person.
Sure.
But like, I can't help you. Like, you know what I mean? Like I always had like the biggest problems. Like he couldn't help me. And that sucks for him. You know what I mean? Imagine being with someone who
just
has
helpless.
this issue and you can't help them. And he like, if I could say anything, it's like, you know, my fiance has always come to me with love, care, and concern. And that is what helped me ask for help. If he had come to me and been like, you have a problem, you need to do this, or you're not doing this, I would have just gotten more fucked up. And he just totally has always been there for me with like love, care, and concern. And if you have an addict in your life who you want to help, the best thing you can do is just be there with love, care, and concern, because that's what we need. But yeah, so I went there and I had no intention of getting sober. I was just going for a break. And the place I went to was for trauma because I have a lot of unresolved childhood and teenage trauma. Like I said, I was bullied a lot. I've been assaulted sexually. I was raped when I was in high school. And I was dealing with all that by covering it up with work, alcohol, partying, drugs, sex, everything. And I never dealt with it ever. So I was just like, fuck it, I need help. And the place I went, they're like, you need to go into this program. So they put me in the program. And then halfway through, I watched a PowerPoint presentation about drugs and alcohol. And the guy teaching it was so cool. But like, that was the moment I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm done. And then I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to beat myself up if I relapse because I'm not going to be perfect in this. But my life has changed forever from being clear and taking care of myself. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I believe I'll be able to serve my purpose even more. And my purpose is to make an impact and elevate this beauty industry and to help others. Like that's my mission. So being sober in 2020, like I got paid in different ways this year. Like I always bitch and moan about like how much money I lost this year, but I got paid in crazy different ways.
That's incredible. That's so inspiring, I have to say.
It's real.
What do you
that, Ryan? You get the exclusive.
This is amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to share this everywhere. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think a lot of people need to hear that, and
I know
especially
a lot of people
too
are struggling.
Is some people might think like, well, it's just weed, right? It's just weed.
No, No,
Yeah.
it's not, you guys. Literally, my inbox blew up because I had mentioned that I was sober, and people are like, "You don't smoke weed anymore? You love weed." And I'm just like, "Yeah, like I was addicted though." And then my messages started coming in with people writing like, "I'm really glad you said this because I think that weed is my problem. Like it's prescribed by my doctor, but I think it's the problem." And I'm like, "Can you stop?" I couldn't stop. Like I couldn't stop.
Right.
I was powerless over marijuana, over cannabis.
Wow.
And it wasn't just bud. Like it wasn't just smoking joints. Like I would wake up, my bong would be in front of, like I would wake up, but like 5 bong rips.
Right.
I would take the CBD oil that was THC. I would take like 60 milligrams just to get out of bed. Just to get out of bed, rip my pen all day long. And then at night I would take these 100 to 180 milligram pills. Depends on how fucked up my day was. And by the end of the day, and I couldn't stop. Like I was taking it just to not feel shitty. I wasn't even taking it to get high. Like I was never high. Like when I was like working and stuff like that, like I was never high. I was just like medicating. It's like taking a pain pill or something.
Sure.
And people who use it to numb their trauma, there are other ways you have to heal your soul. Stop numbing and be who you truly are.
So how do you deal with it on a daily basis now? Because of course, weed use is getting more and more accepted. It's everywhere. I mean, alcohol, of course, is everywhere. And I know that like after you've been sober for a bit, but I mean, it's still got to be challenging, right? If you get stressed out, if that was your go-to, like I just need to take a pill or smoke a joint. Like how what do you do now? If that's what do you do when your triggers come? Like how do you adjust?
So it's incredibly important for me to maintain my routine. So I get up at 4:00 in the morning. I make.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What?
I get up at 4.
Wow.
Because literally, Ryan, you want to change your life? Wake up at 4. I've gotten people to do this and it's changed their freaking life forever. And I know you think you can't. I used to wake up at 10.
Yeah. I'm with you though.
A 6-hour shift. That's a 6-hour time because I had no time to do anything for myself. And anytime I would plan to do something for myself between 9 and 6, there's always a good reason to cancel. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, especially for busy people like us, like, it's just not going to happen. And if you're a hairstylist slaying behind the chair, if the phone rings and money's on the other line, you're not going to say no to money and yes to yourself. It's just, you got to be really like mentally strong. And I'm not. When it comes to money, I'm trying to make this bread like everybody else. Like,
sure.
But I wake up at 4. I do my chi machine. I like Google it.
Your what? Chi machine?
Chi machine. Google it.
Like find, like kind of like find your chi. That kind of like something that helps you get centered.
You put your feet in it and it swings your body and you look like a fish, but it gets all the blood to your organs. It helps with digestion. It helps with anxiety. But like I get out of bed at 4 and I take my blanket and I just go in there and for 15 minutes it swings. And that's how I start my day.
That's awesome. Okay.
It's not like I wake up and get on the treadmill. Sometimes I do. But I do that. I make a breakfast. Like I make like a crazy breakfast, like eggs, bacon, sausage, hash browns. I eat tater tots every single morning. Highlight of my morning in the air fryer. Let's go.
Yeah.
My fiance and I have time together. I do drink a lot of coffee, like a lot of coffee.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. And then I do my workout. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do jujitsu.
Okay.
Jujitsu, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do like 4 or 5 miles on the treadmill and yoga every day. And if I do all of that, like if I get my routine done, I'm good. The only time I'm having like a shit day is if I don't get because anxiety, like you said, like we were saying before, it has to get out of you somehow.
Sure.
I believe exercise is the answer to that.
100% works for me. Yep.
Yeah. Exercise is the answer to get that out. And for the people who don't want to exercise, I want you to just know that there are people who wake up every fucking day with no legs. And if you have 2 legs and your feet are on the floor and you have the ability to exercise, you need to get up and exercise. And I don't want to hear it.
And some of those times when you least want to exercise, when you're tired, but you're stressed out and you know you need to get that blood moving, you know you got to do something, even if you just walk briskly around the neighborhood, you are going to be so happy after. It might not even happen during, but I guarantee it's going to help clear your mind. It's going to help you feel better and feel accomplished.
Yeah, you have to put yourself in that positive state. Like it doesn't just happen.
Right.
Like people don't just unless you're doing this on a consistent basis, you're not just going to wake up happy. You're not just going to wake up one day and be like, all my problems are solved. Like opportunity is dressed up like work boots and fucking overalls. You know what I mean? Like people miss it because it's like you have to do the work or else it's not going to happen for you. Sorry to be like blunt about it, but people keep asking me like, what do you do? What do you do? And I'm just like, you have to exercise. What else? There's no easy answer for that. And the other benefits you get from exercise are just next level. Like the amount of breakthroughs I have, the ideas that I have, and then the passive time, like put my podcast or Ryan's podcast in and get it together.
You know, it's so funny too, because I always listen to podcasts when I work out. Like I don't even listen to music anymore because it doesn't inspire me like listening to podcasts. Like I will sit there and listen to just these inspiring podcasts and I'll be learning stuff. And I call it Ryan time, where it's not just, I'm just going to exercise. I do it in my garage where I have this whole gym set up now, which I'm glad I did because I hate going to the gym, but I work out in there.
I did it in my room too, over here.
Almost daily. And I've got a whiteboard in there too. And I've got a notebook, and like in between sets when things are coming to me, I'm writing it down, or I listen to podcasts and I just always feel like I need to be writing something down, but I'm not always able to. So I'm like, I got a whiteboard, I got my notebook, and I come out of there and I'm just like supercharged.
It's amazing. And it's literally like the missing link for so many people. You don't need a pill. You don't need to smoke a joint. You don't need to get fucked up after work and bitch about your life. You just need to wake up earlier and take care of yourself.
Well, you probably shouldn't listen to one of the podcasts I did. I don't know when it was, but I talk about like, you should just smoke a joint every now and then and it'll open your mind up.
It does. Trust me, it does. But I'm not against weed, like at all. I think that it's amazing, beautiful medicine for people who need it. But I think that it's very highly abused for numbing trauma. And all of us have trauma at different levels. Like all of us have been traumatized at different extents, to different extents. And like for those of us who have severe trauma, which many, 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 many of us have grown up in a family with domestic violence. Many, many, many of us have been sexually assaulted at some point. Many, many, many of us have been bullied, abused. Many of us have experienced terrible trauma. Some people go to war. Some people witness a parent dying or have extremely tragic losses in their lives. And we need something, but like the answer doesn't have to be numbing it out. Like the gift is in your feelings because it's all happening for you. Like if you can overcome this, what else can you overcome? And a lot of the time we don't take the opportunity to get the gift. We just numb it out.
So you're just an incredible person. You've had these transformations. You're transforming other people's lives. You are on fire right now. What's next for you in 2021 and beyond?
Well, in 2021, my goal is to have 50 podcasts and 50 YouTube videos.
Like 50 unique podcasts?
Yeah, 50 podcasts, 50 YouTube videos. So 50 episodes each. I really want to launch my YouTube channel. I really want to go on YouTube because I've been meaning to do it forever. I've just been so focused on other things. And in 2021, I'm going to be launching my YouTube channel, like with really great content, like kind of the stuff we're talking about, just like more, you know what I mean? And I mean, this is a lot, but just more of this is what I mean. And I really want to get my message out there. And I want to help people with all of this stuff. It's really important to me. And I believe that a lot of people need help with it. So my goal is to start my YouTube channel. I already have a few videos. So you can follow me on YouTube, Gina Bianca. Please follow me, please.
Go follow Gina on YouTube. Go right now.
Please subscribe. What the fuck, you guys? But no, I'm going to do YouTube, my podcast. My goal is to podcast every week. I started my coaching practice for my it's mastermind members only because like I really want people to like kind of have context, support, peers, like know people. Like I don't really want to I probably will do coaching clients at a higher rate, but mastermind coaching. So like I have hours booked off for coaching one-on-one. I'd like to do group coaching. That would be great. I'm working with Joyco as their global salon business expert. So I have these great videos coming out from them. It's called Elevate Your Life in Business. And it's all about the journey from student to beauty influencer. And it's just like all my best advice for anyone going through the journey. So I'm doing all that. And my classes are starting next year. I'm doing foiling in business, blonde in business essentials, master stylist certification, and strategic color placement at the network. I've got other artists teaching at the network. The salon's doing great. So my goal is to literally try to reach as many people as possible and help them tell my story, create cool content that you guys like, and just keep it going.
So you've got some projects on your plate, just a few.
Yeah, it never stops. It like all goes together though. Right. You know what I mean? Like when I'm doing something, it all kind of like fits together.
The synergy. It's not like you're starting completely separate businesses. It's all similar topics. You're just using different forms of media to reach a wider audience.
Yeah, it's like on Instagram and YouTube, it's real. Like Instagram is for like the mind numbing binging stuff. Yep. Like I love reels. Like I love reels. Like I was just like, I'm not doing a reel, like get out of my face. But I said the same thing about Instagram Live, and I said the same thing about stories. Like I literally was like, I'm not doing this. And then I love it. So I got the reels, and then YouTube is just a whole different audience. You know what I mean? That's just a whole different ballpark audience. And then podcast is like for those who want to consume this way. And then mastermind for those who want to get a little bit closer to me and who want to do my biweekly coaching. And then I have the one-on-one for those who like really want to work with me and who want to like make shit happen. So it's really just like, it starts out here and then it just hones in. And I've met some of the most incredible people in the world this way for many years. So I'm just excited to broaden it even more.
That's amazing, Gina. I could talk to you a lot longer, but I definitely want to bring you back for a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4. There's just
I'll come
so
back
much.
Anytime.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I'd love to do that again.
I got to have you on my podcast. I'm doing guests next year.
Nice. Let's do it.
Yes.
I'll
send you all the infos.
So how can all the listeners here find you? I know you've mentioned a lot of things, but like maybe just sum it up, like YouTube channel, website. I mean, you know how to promote.
Yeah. So you can go to ginabianca.com to find all my services, like everything I offer. I'm redoing my website, so just like bear with me, but it's all there. Like everything you need to find is on my website, ginabianca.com. You can follow me on Instagram, follow the Network Salon. We're amazing. And we do all the education there. So be part of the network. That's huge. So at the Network Salon, at I am Gina Bianca, you could subscribe on YouTube. And then my podcast is the Gina Bianca Podcast. You can listen everywhere.
Gina, AKA the Hair Doctor, thank you so much for being here on the show. And I can't wait till next time and to watch you just explode in the future.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you so much for letting me share.
You got it.
I love hearing from you. And by the way, have you subscribed to the podcast yet? Oh my gosh, if you haven't, please do so right now because there's so much cool stuff ahead. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because it would be much cooler if you did. Plus, I don't want you to miss any of the new episodes I'm dropping weekly. Last thing, if you haven't checked out ryanweeden.com yet, there are some great freebies on there that I want to give you. So go ahead and check it out, ryanweeden.com. Thank you so much for listening. You are awesome.